Greetings everyone, and welcome to the Festival of Cervo. We are here with the Barbican Quartet. I want you guys to introduce yourselves one by one. Thank you for joining us in this interview.
I'm Kate, I play second violin. I'm Yoanna, I'm the cellist.
I'm Christoph, I play the viola.
And I'm Amarins and I play violin.
Wow. Yeah. So, I wanted to ask you, how was the Barbican Quartet formed? Because I read that you met, like three of you met each other at school, but I wanted to know something like more specific about that. And who chose the name?
Well, I think it was me that chose the name, but it was a mistake because we were studying in school and we were a very new quartet. And we needed a name to play our first concert, and it happened to be in the Barbican Center in London. And I said, "Oh, haha, we can be the Barbican Quartet."
And the Guildhall School.
Exactly.
The Barbican Center.
Yes. So then, yes, actually somehow the name stuck, and for the next years of concerts we were the Barbican Quartet, and then it worked out.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of names start as kind of a placeholders, and then you're like, "Oh well, that sounds good." So we're gonna stick by that.
Yeah.
Exactly, that's how it was.
So I also read on your biography page that you as a group can speak 7 languages.
Oh God.
How is that? How does that work?
Well, we rehearse in Spanish, but none of us speak Spanish, so it's very stupid.
All from different countries, and also none of us live where we're from.
Yes.
So we've had to learn languages as we go. And
At least 3 languages each. That's a lot. Oh my God. I can't imagine doing that.
Let's not forget the language of music.
Oh God. Ooh. Please cut that out.
Okay, so on your biography, there's written that you are like based in both London and Munich.
Yes,
right?
that's right.
We're all about being a paradox.
Yeah, and I mean, those cities are major cultural centers, and they're so important. Like they have such a rich musical history. How does that affect you as a group, your identity?
That's a really good question. I think they're very different musical worlds, and I think it's very nice to have the German musical history, and it's such a rich history of composers. Being in Munich is interesting also with just the history of the city itself, which is not necessarily all positive. The conservatory where we have lessons was also the Nazi headquarters, and it's a very strange place to be sometimes. I think it's similar with English, but it's a very different history and tradition, and I think it's enriching to us in a way that we're 4 musicians from such different backgrounds and such different, upbringings and ways of thinking about music, that I think it's very inspiring that we can come together and that we think about so many different ways of doing things and then bring that into the music that we play, because of course we play music from all the different countries, so you have to think about the language and the history when you're playing those pieces. Yeah,
I wanted to ask you, speaking of that, like how do your cultures come together? Which role do they play out in the quartet?
Well, actually, I was thinking when you asked the previous question also that one of the main things that happens in a combination like this, where we're all, as I said, not living in our own countries, we're almost all speaking not our mother tongue. There's this kind of thing that is being rebuilt all the time, and there is less tradition in everything that we're doing. I think we're always building things anew, and I think that's really important to us in a way that we're of course playing a lot of old music, some new, we're trying, but I think it's very important to have this kind of fresh outlook on everything. And one of the dangers when you're in one place, always not necessarily, but in one place and all speaking the same language, all from the same part of the world, is that you start seeing things from that perspective. And this, I think the variety of perspectives that we all bring into this can be fun.
And also, speaking of your school, like the Guildhall School, I read online that the acceptance rate is crazy. It's around like 10%. Like your biography online really stood out to me in general because you have done so many things. Like you have accomplished so many things, like prizes, scholarships, playing there and there. It felt like, whoa, I'm meeting like global superstars, oh my God. And I know that it is quite difficult because music is such an amazing environment, so everyone wants to be involved, of course, but not everyone can excel in that. So what do you think is the strategy to emerge in such a competitive environment?
I think, to me, it's always very paradoxical that, you know, music is for everybody, and I think the nice part of music is playing with other people and wanting the best for your colleagues and for the people in your class and in your school. And it also has a competitive element, which is, for me, it's exactly the opposite of what music should be. But that being said, I think that it has helped us very much to do competitions and to compete in order, well, actually, first of all, to improve our own level, because it makes you really work to your, 110% and always to push to what is possible for you in that moment. And I think it's also been so helpful just to put us on a bigger stage in general in the world, and we're very lucky about that. So, I think we feel very generous towards all other musicians, that we're happy that there is enough place in the world for everybody to play music in the way that's fitting.
And in competitions, it's not so important. In our experience, that was the case, that we didn't think we're competing against the others, but we were thinking that we're just playing concerts for ourselves and for the audience, and not like playing against other quartets.
Definitely.
And in the end, I think you just really have to love what you're doing, because it takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of dedication, and you always have to come back to the reason why you individually do it and you as a group do it. And I think when you have that and you know that and you come back to it, then anyone can excel if they put the time and the work in and they love what they're doing.
Definitely.
Okay. So speaking of accomplishments, your CD is coming out soon. Is that right? Okay, so is that like a live CD or a studio recording? How does that work?
Yeah, it's our first ever recording, and we've started recording it. We'll have a few more days in the fall to record, and it's such an interesting process, but we're not exactly sure yet when it will come out. Probably sometime in 2024, I'm imagining. And I think it was just a very interesting experience for all four of us. I think the church agrees.
Yeah. And how is different recording in a studio compared to playing live?
Well, you have more than one chance to play through it, so you kind of have to go in also with the idea that you're playing a concert, because otherwise you can get in the mentality of, okay, repeat this part. And I think what we have been trying to do this time is really imagine that each time we play it, we are in a concert, so we don't lose our energy, we don't lose the inspiration for the music, but it's definitely tricky. You have long days and you have to kind of go over the piece again and again, and we'll see what happens.
I think in the studio recording you're a little bit more conscious of how the whole thing holds together in terms of form, I think, because you know that it's going to be heard like this, like you're kind of signing your name to that interpretation, right? So I think it adds a certain kind of stress, I would say, because in a concert environment, whatever you do, I feel like there is a natural progress of a piece that if you're listening, if you're paying attention, responding to one another, it happens, right? And it's there, and if you just trust each other, it's fine. But something about making a recording and potentially repeating certain parts and making some choices, exactly what are we going to do here, exactly what are we going to say here, it's very, I think it's a very, very different process. There is less of this kind of instinctive music making that is really full of joy and full of being in the moment, and more
less spontaneous.
It shouldn't be entirely different, but I think it involves a little bit more kind of, okay, this is how I see this. I need to really, really, really know that that's what I want. Otherwise, I think you have to still make a difference even if we're thinking that it's concert-wise for the energy.
Mm-hmm. So, do you have any favorite moment of your career so far? You can also answer individually because it's so interesting. We want to know more about you individually as well as a group.
I think for me it's a little bit more of an abstract answer where I've had a few moments, and it's very hard to say when, where I would look up at playing in a concert and think, wow, this is so cool what we're doing, because it's often very easy to be sucked into little details and rehearsal, and you're always thinking, this has to be better, that's our whole life, has to be better. But sometimes I just had a few moments where I look up and I'm like, wow, okay, this is amazing. Like I look at the other three and I'm like, they're just playing away. They have no idea that I feel that way, But it's really great. I think that's for me the highlight when I have these moments of like, okay, this is cool.
Yeah, I guess for me it's similar, but it's more the moments and the special moments that happen in concerts. That you can't explain, but they just, the certain moment you feel, this is magic, and this is what we are doing this for, and when these moments happen, then that's a very special thing.
It has to be in order, guys. It has to be.
I mean,
of course I join into that as well. The funny thing though, when we say these special moments in concert, they're never the same. Mm-hmm. I don't know if there has been one time when we have all felt that together. We're always having a different experience of the whole concert, which is really funny, and it could happen that one of us has had this kind of transcendental experience on stage where we go off stage and the other one is just like, this sucked. So personal, right? So I think it depends for me also so much on what happens around the concerts. And for me, actually, personally, I have to be completely honest, when we really combine this very special music making with some kind of connection to the places we're in, that makes it really, really wonderful. Especially if we go to a place like here, look at this. This is pretty special. This has all the potential to be a
no pressure.
Yeah. No, I mean,
yeah, right.
No, I mean, that question could have led eventually there,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It was a setup.
No, I promise. Nothing is set up. I'm not against you. I promise. So what about you?
Well, I have an experience without these guys, but kind of that gave me these thoughts about concerts that also really kind of reflects what you've all been saying. And it was that a few years ago I was in Africa and I was working in some orphanages with the El Sistema music programs. And they asked if I would go to an orphanage and play the violin for them to show them what they will be learning, because they were starting a new program there. And I was sort of stressing a little bit about what I should play, and I thought, okay, I'll play, solo Bach, that's fine, I have some and it will be good, and they'll like it, whatever. And so when I was standing at the front of, it was like a church, then I started playing, and I realized very quickly that everyone had started kind of whispering and laughing. And I thought, oh God, playing badly? Like, do they not like it? And then I kind of I kept playing, and while I was playing, I realized, wait, they've never in their lives seen a violin before. They've never seen anyone do this, and I look like an elephant dancing on stage in front of them. And so for me, it was this moment where I realized, what we do is so unique and so specific, but in the end, it's not that stressful. It's not that important. What is important is what you're giving to people and the connection you're having with people. And So I loved that they left because it made me realize how I needed to be more open-minded and more relaxed.
Yeah, that sounds like a very special thing. I think that's a wrap. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
You're so nice. They're so down to earth. So funny. No comments. Like, I'm really looking forward to hearing you play tonight.
Sorry.
I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it wasn't too stressful.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, I had so much fun with you guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So yeah, stay tuned for the Barbican Quartet tonight. Bye from the Festival of Cervo. Thank you very much.
Bye.